All right, everyone. I think we're going to go ahead and get started here in a minute. Don't let me fall off this riser. Bob offered to spot me so I don't fall off the riser here. Welcome, welcome. My name is Danielle Peterson. I'm the president and CEO of United Way of Dubuque Area Tri-States. And I have, ooh, whistle, that's so sweet. I have the joy of welcoming you today for our 2021 United Way Campaign Kickoff Breakfast. So thank you guys all for attending. Yes. We have some great people in the room. I know we have some great people online watching from home or their offices or their cars or pickup lines and drop-off lines for childcare in school. But I want to say thank you for every part you have into joining us today. So other thank yous I have really quickly. Thank you to Joey Wales of the Joey Wales Band for the wonderful thank. Of course, the Diamond Joe, Wendy Rundy, who's on our board, and the Diamond Joe and all of their staff who helped put our breakfast together today, including the working with our live stream and everything like that. So thank them. Thank the Diamond Joe for that. Thank you, Lori. We also have some beautiful moms from Steve's Ace Hardware, and I want to say thank you to them as well. I don't know that they're able to make it, but hopefully they're watching online and shared some great flowers to make everything look beautiful today. Thank you. All right, so today we're going to hear from some great people. Katie Wiedemann from NACC is going to be our MC, and she's really going to help us learn a few things in the next hour about United Way. We're going to talk about some differentiators that we have within our community and things that we can offer, things that many of you may know about, and I always hope that you walk away learning something new and exciting that you're able to share with others. So that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Katie Wiedemann, our MC for the day, and I want to thank her as well.
My pleasure. Well, good morning, everyone. It's great to see you all here on this beautiful, gorgeous morning. First of all, we're going to get started here with this year's United Way campaign co-chairs, April Finnan-Rink and Bob Woodward. Thank you so much for joining us and telling us about what your involvement is with this campaign, as well as United Way as a whole. So April, I'll get started with you. Tell me a little bit about why you have decided to chair this campaign with Bob.
Good morning, everyone. For me, it's very time consuming, not to mention also very difficult to figure out where will my donation dollars make the most impact. What organizations will be a good steward of those dollars. And I feel like United Way takes the guesswork out of that equation. With one gift to United Way, you're able to impact 31 local programs and 24 local not-for-profits that all have a proven track record. To put it simply, United Way is an easy button for charitable giving.
I feel like that's probably, I saw a lot of head nods in the room. That's probably the way everyone is feeling, that impact and that reach is really a one-stop shopping, if you will. How about you, Bob? Same thing? Similar?
Yeah, originally when I was asked to get involved by Jan Powers, it resonated with me because our family has always given to the United Way. My dad actually chaired the United Way campaign, as some people know, back in the late 60s. And we've had workplace programs for years and years and years. And it's, in fact, at Woodward Communications, it's the only on-site philanthropy that we allow. And so we've always had a large commitment with the workplace and individually, and then there's the family connection. And I've got lots of other reasons, as April mentioned too, in terms of the process.
Well, and it being so local, right? And 98% staying local. Tell me about that. Why is that important to you and your family business?
I think it's really important because we want the money we are raising is local, and we want the impact to be local as well. And it's the agencies that are getting that money. We're working together in the United Way with organizations that have been vetted by volunteers, and they're hitting those three important pillars of health, income, and education. So that 98% local, I think there's a misconception among some that this money goes off to Washington, D.C. or something like that. Not the truth. It actually almost all stays right here and impacts a lot of lives.
That's real news, not fake news, right?
True.
So tell us, what is your goal for the campaign this year? April, how about you?
Well, our goal is to exceed our goal from last year, which was 1.2 million
Whoa.
during COVID, no less.
Whoa. So what are you going to do to focus on that this year?
Sure. We're going to try and increase, and we would like the business leaders in the area here to work on workplace programs. That's really important, and it makes it very easy to give as well. At our company, we have payroll deduction, and I love that because honestly, I can just check a box, put a dollar amount in, and I never miss it. It's always just goes out every couple of weeks or so. And so workplace programs, we're also going to reach out to more individuals as well this year. We've got a lot of other cool things going on. We got the Over the Edge rappelling deal that's coming off of the Hotel Julian. I've got my Over the Edge shirt on today, and my life insurance is paid up. My will is up to date, so in all seriousness, this is the second time I'm doing it.
So this is your second time. Show of hands in the room. Is there anyone else here who is going to be edging? Look at that. Wow. Molly Schreiber. All right, that is awesome. You're more brave than everybody whose hands weren't up just a minute ago, including my own. So how can others get involved with the United Way? Obviously, you're kind of our ringleaders, if you will. What are some ways people can follow in your footsteps?
The easiest way is just go to dbqunitedway.org, and you can click on the volunteer section and then get connected. There's tons of volunteer opportunities for companies or individuals, and I couldn't imagine you won't find something that pulls at your heartstrings there.
Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would add, a couple things you can do. I mentioned the workplace programs, or you can get involved individually, volunteering Over the Edge. Today everybody has a Post-it notepad on their table, and if you've got a pen, I would encourage you to just stop and think for a couple minutes today while we're together for the next half hour, 45 minutes about United We Can, and that is our theme this year, and there's a lot of power in unity. And maybe write down what United We Can do what. I wrote down United We Can make a greater positive impact on local lives. You might have your United We Can. So I'd encourage you to maybe just take a second and write that down. And then there's some pieces of paper on the doors. On the way out today, maybe take that pad, that note that you made to yourself, stick it on that piece of paper, and maybe take that back with you, that sentiment, in terms of what we can all do together.
And you can keep the rest of them, take them home with you. It's a parting gift.
That's right.
Thank you, April and Bob. We really appreciate your passion and leadership, and I feel like we're all inspired by that. So stay right here. We are going to kick off. We have 3 pillars that we celebrate at the United Way. Health, education, and income. And we are going to be having videos throughout the program, 3 different videos that best explain and share the story of those 3 pillars. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that first one. This first video is health. All right, good guess.
Get a 1-3 chance.
I thought what I needed was a job and an apartment. What I got when I went to Almost Home was a lesson about how I was living my life. Moving from one crisis to another, using alcohol to try to make up for things I thought I needed to have, I found that in recovery, I could start to make the choices that would make me a better person. This would make me more prepared to make better decisions. I learned to share my experiences, strengths that I thought I never had, and I learned about hope. Thanks to Almost Home, I got the support and time I needed. Thank you, United Way. Without the support of Almost Home, I don't know where I'd be today.
United, we can work to provide over 35,000 nights of safe shelter.
United, we can impact over 55,000 local lives.
commercial break. We're back. We're back live. Oh, we're working with video cameras. Okay, this feels right to me. Okay, so set change. Here we are. Lisa Turner from Catholic Charities and Amanda DuPont is joining us too this morning. You are with us this morning. Sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Lisa. So tell me a little bit about your involvement with the United Way.
Well, as most of you know, over the last year, there's just been a really increased awareness around the needs of brain health, not just in our area, but throughout the country. And so as everyone did, and about a year and a half ago, we did a hard pivot and began meeting the needs of our most critical clients, those who live with chronic mental illness via telehealth, and just really expanded our telehealth opportunities. And then we continued to expand that to existing clients, and now it's just kind of how we do business. It's kind of the standard. And so in this way, we were able to keep our clients safe during a pandemic, and we continue to keep our counselors and our staff safe as well. And so one of the silver linings, if we want to look at it that way, of the pandemic was the expansion of this modality of telehealth in terms of how we deliver brain health services. And it allows our counselors to continue to stay connected to our most vulnerable populations. But even though there is more of a national dialogue around brain health, there's still a lot of barriers that need to come down. One of those barriers is just the general stigma around brain health. But sometimes I think that we don't always know how to just have real conversations about how to make an appointment and what to expect at that first appointment. And so continuing to just open the channels of communication and have those conversations is a great way to continue to break down those barriers. Other barriers like transportation, infrastructure like broadband, cost, and it's our continued work with the United Way and the support of the United Way that allows us to continue this really important work, and we're grateful for that.
How important is that funding? I mean, where would you be without it?
I don't know that we could do what we do without it. You know, we have been a funded partner for many years, and that partnership gives us community-wide respect that because we're a part of the United Way. In the past few years, we've seen growth in the partnerships, and it's not just the number of people in the network, but the ability to collaborate and collectively work together, and it just wouldn't be possible without the United Way.
Wonderful, thank you. Amanda DuPont from Community Solutions of Eastern Iowa, tell me a little bit about the work that you do and how the United Way has helped fund your work.
Sure. So at CSCI, we are the nonprofit under ECIA here in Dubuque. We cover 2 counties, Dubuque and Delaware County, to provide homeless services to individuals who are experiencing homelessness, but then as well as individuals who are experiencing a housing crisis. So individuals that are at risk of being evicted. We have our homeless hotline that is more of a warm line for individuals who are experiencing a housing crisis, looking for referrals, looking for resources to maintain that stable housing or get back on their feet from homelessness. So United Way has helped support the hotline and staff in growing our homeless services. A couple of years back when Project Concern closed, who was a local nonprofit, who was a big hub for homeless services, they closed and we absorbed one of their programs. We then utilized all of the grant funding that went with those programs, including United Way, and kept applying for more money from United Way, which helped us grow from a part-time staff with 1 program to 2 full-time staff and 4 programs over the years. United Way really, it allowed us to, it gave us the opportunity to grow. It supported staff doing research, filling gaps, seeing what we could do to fill the need in the community.
Makes sense. What does it mean for both of you to be part of the United Way and to be served by the United Way?
For us, it's a sense of community. It's allowing us to fill those gaps in the community, grow relationships with partners. At the beginning of the pandemic, we had the ability to partner with Dubuque Area Labor Harvest. They had a really high interest in reaching out to those who were shut in, who couldn't get out to go get their groceries, to get their food. and we had the hotline. So they approached us with United Way's help. We partnered. We've been doing food box deliveries for individuals. Well, I say not when I say we, or Dubuque Area Labor Harvest. They're the ones that are coordinating the volunteers.
I'm going to guess you're probably involved with that a little bit too. Go ahead and say we.
We've been taking the calls. So since actually the pandemic started, we've taken over 2,500 calls.
What?
Right.
Wow.
That's over 2,500 households that have been served. That includes over 4,000 adults and almost 2,000 children since the beginning of the pandemic. Just this year, we've done, just for the food calls, we've done over 860 calls. And then that is separate from our hotline, from the individuals that are experiencing a housing crisis. So with that, we've done over 1,100 homeless calls. So in this year, in 2021, we've taken almost 2,000 calls for individuals that are experiencing a need in our community.
And would you say the pandemic has had a significant impact on that?
Absolutely, absolutely. We wouldn't have been able to partner with Dubuque Area Labor Harvest to do the food box deliveries. We're finding there's still a need there. We're also a resource for those who are experiencing housing crisis with, the moratoriums coming up and people at risk of being evicted due to loss of income or no income, not being able to find work.
You're doing good work. How about you, Lisa? Tell me more about how this impacts you.
Well, the partnership with the United Way allows us to continue our programs and to just really continue growing that and reaching more and more people. As the year has gone on, wait lists continue to grow, and this partnership allows us to work on those wait lists and get people in for their appointments as quickly as possible. So it's, like I said before, it's essential.
That is a great story of impact to share with us. We appreciate both of you joining us this morning. And now we're going to take a look at our second video. This one is related to education.
One of our community school districts has an after-school program. One day after the program was over, I was able to sit with one of the mentees as she waited for her mom to pick her up. She was talking about how she enjoyed hanging out at one of the parks in our community. Now, this particular park has a history of older kids not only doing drugs, but giving drugs to others. I was asking the mentee if she has ever seen this or experienced this kind of pressure. We were able to walk through scenarios together, and she practiced with me how she would say no if ever the opportunity arose. And she even came up with a clever response on her own. Nah, drugs ain't my thing. At Helping Services for Youth and Families, we believe in helping support healthier and safer families. United Way of Dubuque Area Tri-States supports our youth mentoring program. Every day, we work to help kids, like the girl in this story, to bring positive change to their lives and their communities. I wouldn't have been able to have this conversation with her without support from United Way.
United, we can give academic and social emotional support to over 7,000 children.
United, we can impact over 55,000 local lives.
Great to see some familiar faces in that video, wasn't it? And speaking of familiar faces, we have a couple of people joining us here this morning that are our business partners that work with the United Way. Lauren Shazinski from Cottingham and Butler, and Joe Music from Progressive Processing and Hormel. So tell me a little bit about your involvement with United Way, and especially with your involvement with the campaign at your workplace.
Absolutely. Thanks, Katie. Hi, everybody. Great to be here. I recently joined United Way as a board member a couple months ago, but prior to that, I was on the marketing committee for, I want to say, 4 years. Joined when I was at Loras College and continued on with the work at United Way over the last couple of years. But specifically at Cottingham and Butler, we have done a workplace campaign for obviously way longer than I have been there, but for many years, and it's continued to grow over the years, which we're really proud of. Over the last year, obviously with the pandemic, it changed things. We tried to get creative as creative as we could get. We did see an increase in our campaign this year, which we're really proud of. But yeah, our HR team does a really nice job communicating, pushing that out via email, via our intranet, getting in front of the team leads, really pushing the impact and the stories behind United Way to encourage folks to give.
Why do you think there was an increase in the middle of the pandemic, especially when everyone was working from home and there wasn't a lot of camaraderie going on? Why still the increase in giving?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't sit on our HR team, but I did have a chance to chat with them yesterday. And really their main point was that thankfully CMB didn't see a reduction in workforce, and we did not see a reduction in hours or anything like that. So we were able to encourage our folks to give back if they could to those folks that did see the impact that we were so thankful to not see.
Same question for you, Joe. How do you get employees involved, and why is that important to you?
Yeah, I think, you heard Bob allude to it originally during his comments, just that we all get asked to do a whole lot of things, as employers in the area, and you pick and choose what philanthropic efforts can you really get involved in. The United Way is such a great one to be connected with because it supports so many various functions on your behalf. And so for many years, Hormel Foods has been involved with the United Way, and that's really our philanthropic organization of choice to partner with. And so we make a point every year of getting in front of our employees and really talking about the benefits of that and all the great things that they do in the community, being leaders at work, but also being stewards of your community and why that's so important.
And with where you work, you have a variety of different economic levels, different levels of people who, much different pay scales, if you will. So how do you get people of the different aspects? How do you get everyone on board with this?
Yeah, it's a great point, Katie. I think in many ways that works to our benefit in terms of raising funds because there's people who have firsthand experience going through hardship. And so, one of the things that we try to do is spotlight some of those situations, right? When somebody's comfortable being able to talk about how they've been in a bad situation at one point and really leaned on some of these organizations that partner with the United Way using the funds that we raise. So I think in many ways it's actually helped us to raise funds by having that variation.
And you both work for companies that are pretty good size in the Dubuque area. What about smaller workforces, people who have much smaller number of employees? Can they still get involved? Can you still make an impact like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We all know that right now, it's about more than just the bottom line, right? If you look at what's going on in the labor market and for job seekers, they want to work for a company that is looking at more than just the bottom line and that has a purpose. And so whether you're large or small, creating a point of difference and having things that you care about beyond just a profit is important. So, giving to people feels good, right? And it creates camaraderie and fun at work. And so we prop that up and try to show a sense of purpose to our team members.
So how did you adjust during the pandemic? I mean, you were so successful. I'm sure you guys were as well. How did you really get people to rally around that, and especially moving forward? You can go ahead, Lauren.
Okay. I say the first thing that pops into my mind, and Bob mentioned it earlier, we really embrace the Over the Edge event. We have a lot of young people that work at CMB, and a way to engage those folks and tell that story was to have something fun for them to look forward to and engage together and to raise funds. So last year we had 7 folks that jumped over the edge. I shouldn't say jumped, right? Feels like you're jumping.
It's a good way to say
leaning,
it.
Yeah. Pushing, I don't know, falling. No, diving. Yeah, no, just kidding. We had 7 folks that did that last year. We raised about $7,000, maybe closer to $8,000. But really it wasn't necessarily the end event. Obviously that was great and fun, but all the events and the fundraising and the camaraderie that led up to that really engaged our workforce. And to your point, that's what we need the most, right? We've got a lot of young people and a lot of people that didn't necessarily feel the culture of our different workplaces. So engaging them philanthropically was huge for us last year. And to be honest, we're not necessarily out of the pandemic, right? So we're trying to do the exact same thing this year. We've ramped it up. We've engaged more folks across the whole company, and we've really seen an uptick there as well.
Can you talk about some creative ways, maybe some grassroots ways that your team has raised money?
Yeah, what's been successful for us, first and foremost, I would say, is having very intimate sessions. As we've tried to do larger audiences, it does not have the same appeal. So it's a bit more of a time commitment to have smaller groups, but being able to tell some of those stories, those success stories, tends to go over well in a smaller setting. But beyond that, lots of raffles, lots of incentives. Working for a major food producer at Hormel Foods, we certainly bring in various products because people are incentivized by food. And then I always try to do fun things too in terms of, whether it be a pie in the face contest or a dunk tank, just finding ways to have fun with it too.
That's helpful. Fun all around. Thank you both for joining us. We really appreciate it. You can stay right here. We're going to pop into our third and final video. This one is about income.
I was upset when I came to the Dubuque Salvation Army. I had lost my job at a restaurant due to staffing reductions during COVID, and now the weather was hot and I needed a fan for my apartment. I was told by 2 other agencies to visit the Salvation Army. When I received my fan, I was told about the Client Choice Food Pantry and other programs the Salvation Army offered. 2 days later, I was back with a smile on my face and ready to go through the food pantry. As I walked through the pantry, I picked out food that best worked for me and my family. The Salvation Army also helped me identify where I could apply for employment retraining and clothing for job interviews. Thank you to United Way for supporting programs such as the one at the Salvation Army. Without their support, I never would have gotten the help I needed.
United, we can make sure over 33,000 people receive food.
United, we can impact over 55,000 local lives.
Joining me now is Sue Hafgemeyer from the Mercy One Foundation. She is also the chair of the UW chair for the board. So tell us a little bit about your involvement and why this is so important to you.
Well, Katie, welcome everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and to see all of you here this morning, especially during this very difficult time of the pandemic. I have been involved with the United Way for the past 4 years, been on the board, been on the marketing committee, served on several of the other committees, and have most recently as your board chair. So United Way is really important to me, and I think really speaks to me in the fact that by coming together and uniting, we can. We can make a difference, and I think this past year has really shown us with the pandemic the ways that we as nonprofits can come together and make a bigger difference together than we would be able to do individually.
And as you heard, 31% more. We've served more than 31% more this past year. Why does that motivate you to really step up your game?
You know, I think what's exciting is that United Way has always been a convener of nonprofits, and we've always come together to do more than we could alone. And I think the motivation in that is that we can all make a difference. Our donors, all of you who invest in the United Way and give through your volunteer time, your talents, and your treasure, really make a difference and an impact, and that's a motivator to all of us to serve. I think the number of volunteers and the volunteer work we do in the community to help those who are most vulnerable and need our assistance is really, really important right now. And just the show of support this morning by everyone coming out to be part of this year's kickoff really speaks to that importance and that motivation.
So give us an inside scoop on what is coming up with the campaign this year.
So we've got some exciting things happening this year with our campaign. Our marketing committee has been working very hard to get the message out. I think one of the things you'll see this year as we move into 2022 is the announcement of our next grant cycle. As you know, we do a 2-year grant cycle for our nonprofits, so they have a chance to get time to implement the programs that they have applied for. So we'll be announcing that grant cycle again this year and taking applications in 2022. I think you'll see us really engage in diversity, equity, and inclusion with our funded partners and really make a very strong effort in that area as well, which is critically important as we move forward.
You can say that again. So what else would you like to share with everyone today?
I think it's very important that we thank all of our volunteers. I'd like to start with our board of directors. And those of you who are with us this morning, I'd like you to stand. Without our leadership and our board of directors, we would not be able to do the things that we do. So thank you to all of you who are here and all of you who serve with us. I'd also like to thank our marketing committee. Our marketing committee was responsible for coordinating this morning's breakfast and for bringing everyone together. So thank you to Jackie Arnsdorf, our chair, and all of our marketing committee members who worked so hard to make this happen. They also make the Over the Edge event happen. So for those of you who haven't signed up yet, not to jump over the edge, but just to go over the edge, we encourage you to think about that. There's still time to sign up. And our marketing committee spends quite a bit of time working on that event as well to engage folks in the community in kind of a fun, entertaining event that really makes an impact. We also have a number of other committees who have supported us over time. Our investment review committee, those are the folks who read all of the grants, score the grants, and measure the outcomes that our nonprofits make to impact our most vulnerable in the community. So I think that's a really important piece of what we do too, and would like to thank all the folks who've reviewed those grants. That's countless hours of behind the scenes work that makes it all happen.
That's not the fun part.
It's not the fun part. Well, it's really the rewarding part though. I think those who've reviewed those grants really see the impact that everyone is making. And that 31% increase, that's 55,000 lives that are being impacted by those dollars. And I think this year more than ever, we've heard from our nonprofits that they have come together to make that difference and make that impact. So that's very rewarding. If there's anything that good that came out of COVID, it really made us all stop and think, we can't do it alone. We have to do it together. So that's very important. And then I'd also like to thank our Women United group, our campaign chairs from our different corporations, and our staff, Danielle Peterson, Amy Johnson, Ellen Dittmer, and Paula Pater-Light. Thank you for all that you do. And finally, and most importantly, I'd like to thank our donors. We have some of our donors here this morning with us who have made a significant impact. John Deere, who is here at the front of the room, thank you for your support. It is critical to what we do, and you've made such an impact on so many lives this year and every year that you've been supportive of us, so thank you for that. A.Y. McDonald, thank you to you for your leadership and support, and the Dubuque Racing Association, thank you to you. We have a number of different levels of donors, and we'd like to thank all of you this morning for the impact that you make. Every dollar matters.
And thank you, Sue, for your passion, your drive, and your commitment to our entire community, not just through the United Way, but really this woman here, I think we all can agree, makes massive impacts on our community. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. And finally, I'd like to welcome Danielle Peterson to the stage to wrap up our program this morning.
Sorry, good morning again. So I just slammed 3 cups of coffee and we have extra time, so you guys are in danger. No, just kidding. I can't talk too long because many of you know, as I do, I kind of get a little emotional about this, but I love it. I just love hearing each of you guys talk about this. So appreciative. Yep. Yeah. Where's the 5th blooper reel or something?
Commercial break.
Yeah. I do want to thank the funded partners. So would you guys please stand? These are the guys that are working day in, day out, and you guys don't see the work that they do. So sorry to flap my paper and to get a little teary, but I'm so grateful for the work. Okay. There are no blooper reels. I wish there were. And now I can't see because of tears in my eyes. Whew. So thank you. Thank you to the business partners, for Joe and Lauren who spoke today, even though Lauren kind of made people a little fearful perhaps about over the edge. Sue brought it back. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for not only your presentation today and your sharing, but for all of the people who are in this room who offer United Way workplace campaigns, who offer your employees the opportunities to learn about quality programs here, able to serve them and their families when they need it the most. I really appreciate it. And we have organizations who have one person who make a United Way gift. And then, of course, we have organizations that are larger, such as Progressive or John Deere, who are able to offer a more significant level of giving, but the work that they offer is not insignificant no matter what. And we talk at United Way that it's about $45 to impact a life. $45. So if you think about your own spending or things that you've done within your week of how you might have spent, or your week or your month, if you're able to impact one life, if everybody in this room even commits to impacting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lives, whatever it may be, whatever your level of giving that you're able to do, is so appreciated, and we do see that local impact here. As Bob and April mentioned, a couple of differentiators about our organization. One is United Way is only able to be in some of our businesses, really believe so strongly in United Way that we're the only organization that is allowed in there to speak to their employees to request giving. That in and of itself says a lot about our brand, about the quality of work that we do, and the impact we make in the community. So I'm grateful for that. We also talked about local giving, the dollars staying here locally to impact our own communities. We talked about the efficiency of giving, whether you would like to offer your donation through Workplace Campaign. There are some QR codes on the table today. You can do text to give. There's lots of easy ways to make an impact. So that's another thing. And then we also talked about our theme of the year, and that's about being united, right? United we can. We know that as we pull together as a community, as we pull together as a funded partner network, we can work to address the most vulnerable needs in our communities. And we know now more than ever the need is there. And we need all of us to be great leaders, great supporters, and great message sharers of this work. So I thank you for that. I also want to give you a couple heads up about some things that we have coming up that you might want to take note of. So we have a 21-day equity challenge that's happening here beginning of September 1. That's something you can sign up to get something in your email, not literal mail, in your email every day for every workday in September. So you'll get something to read, watch, and listen. It would take about 10 to 15 minutes each day, I hear, to complete. You can do 1, 2, or all 3 of the items there. So I would encourage you to look on our social media to sign up here today, if you'd like, for the 21-day equity challenge. I also mentioned Over the Edge already. We won't talk a lot about that, but there is still room. And I know I was so excited to see how many Edgers were here in the room today, so that's pretty exciting. I know that there's great representation in our funded partners for doing that, so props to you. Also, Jake Dodds, we have a concert coming up, sponsored by Dubuque Bank and Trust, that's coming up on October 1st. That will be at the Five Flags Theater, so I'm really excited about that as an opportunity. I will not be singing. I can be chanting. I'll try to mute myself for you there. And then also, something exciting to look forward to for within this fiscal year for us, is to be looking as January rolls around, January 2022, we will be opening up our fully competitive bid process again. So as you may know, in 2020, what a great year to open up competitive funding, right? Yeah, that didn't maybe necessarily go as we had anticipated, since that was right during the pandemic. But we had some great interest and some great applications, and that's how these 31 funded partners were able to receive funding here locally. So we will have that bid process open back up in January 2022. All right. Did I cover everything? I think I did. All right. So just wanted to say, finally, if you loved what you heard today, if you got excited about one thing you learned, 2, 3, whatever the case may be, please share that with somebody at the dinner table, at the coffee shop, within your workplaces. Share something that you learned today with others, because we know, United we can make a difference. Write whatever it is that you're committed to doing on your post-it notes. I'd encourage you to do that if you don't mind, and stick it on the way out, stick it on the papers in the back on the way out. And then finally, I don't care how you do this, please no grappling or fighting, rock, scissors, paper maybe, I don't know, oldest, youngest, if there's someone's named Steve at your table, but there are these beautiful flowers, and there's only 4 of us staff. And I don't know if anybody's yard is big enough for all the beautiful mums that were donated by Steve's Ace Hardware. So if you guys would like to, one of the people at each table would like to take a mum with you, please feel free to do so. And again, thank you again to all the partners. Thank you to Katie for a wonderful job as emceeing. Let's give her a round of applause if we could. All right, we're going to give you a little bit of gift of time back while you copiously wrote on your Post-it what you're going to do today to help Live United. But thank you guys again all for coming. For those who joined online, look forward to working with each and every one of you this year. Thank you very much.